Hey everyone, welcome back to another $500 strap search. I've got my 5 straps of 100 singles. This may be a little longer than usual because these were great straps. I found some really amazing things. This week's hint, I just want to reiterate one of the things I said on another video, which is every time I get a strap, I always put some kind of marking on the strap so I know which bank I got the straps from. That way I know where potentially better items can be found. I wanted to restate that this time because I found something and I wanted to know where it came from, but I'll get to that in a second. Anyway, that's just the reiteration of my hint about marking your straps so you know where you got them from. On with the search. Those were my straps. Put them over there. And this is what I found. Quite a bit of stuff. First of all, got me another Where's George. Love the Where's Georges. Love going on there logging to see where they went, where they're coming from. Did find one trinary, not in the greatest of shape, but all 2s, 6s, and 7s. The next bill that I've got here, not sure if that's an error or if that's just a dirty bill, but if you look closely, right above the 9 and the 2, there's this green smear. It almost looks like the same color green from the numbers right here. This smudge there, probably just a scuff on the bill, but I pulled it nonetheless. And on this bill as well, this one's got what looks like an ink smudge right here compared to the other side. You can see how this is all dark. Could be dirt, might be an ink smudge. I pulled it just to be safe. Found lots of star notes in this one. All of them were 2013. 2013, higher number. That one's from Boston. This one is relatively crisp. Another star note from Boston. And a Kansas City. Okay, the Kansas City, this is not a star note. This one is quad 5s. You can see it's got 4 5s in a row. That's a block. This one has 4 9s, ending the note 4 9s. And this one was a birthday note. This particular note is an anniversary note, a birthday note, 1913, and then the 0611. 1913 would be the year, and this could either be June 11th or it could be November 6th, 1913. Either way on that one. Did find a number of older bills. This one is from 1995. The bills you're looking for, especially in the older bills, are the 88A, the 93, and the 95. You're looking for web notes there. This one, like I said, 1995. Another 1995, not quite as nice, but still out of place. It doesn't really belong in circulation anymore. This one's really rough, 1993. This is a 1988A. I thought this was neat. Not only is it in decent shape, but it's an X. And remember, they've only gone as high as Y. I've discussed that in other videos. So finding an X note from 1988A. Another 1988A, not in quite as good a shape. And a much rougher 1988A. And then a 1988. You'll notice on the bottom there that it's just got the 1988. There is no A. So this was the original series, unlike the 88A. And then the whole reason why I marked my bills. I pulled this bill here. This is a 1995, and what's so impressive about this is a web note. You can tell it's a web note right here because it only has the single digit. There is no letter indicating the place on the sheet because it was one continuous roll. They're called web notes because they were printed on what's called a web-fed press. It's essentially the same way that they print newspapers. This was an experimental way of doing printing for the Bureau of Printing and Engraving. They did this in as I said before, 88A, 93, and 95. And these notes are extremely rare. They're worth anywhere from $15 all the way up to $800, depending on where they were. And you can find them in circulation. I pulled this one. As soon as I saw this one, I got all excited, and I wanted to see which band it was. And it came from this strap right here, which I had marked with the number 80, which means this particular web note came from the 80th Street Bank. I try not to say the actual names, but the 80th Street Bank, you guys know who you are. Thank you very much for leaving this one in there for me to find. Just another thing about the web notes is on the back, there's also a print number. This one's number 9. It says it right next to "In God We Trust." There's the number 9. On a regular bill, the mark would be down on the bottom here. This one is number 76. That's just the plate number. That's how many times they had to replace that particular plate. So on a regular bill, it's down below, and on a web note, it's up above. So that was my really neat find, and I wanted to make sure I credited the proper people. So now for something from my private collection. This is an 1896 $1 silver certificate. It's part of the educational series. It's the $1 bill from the educational series. These bills were only in circulation for 3 years. The federal government put them out in 1896. They had a $1 bill, a $2 bill, and a $5 bill. I've already shown the $2 bill in a previous video. I'm saving the $5 for another video. But this is the $1 note. And the $1 note was based, well, it was called the educational series because the note was trying to educate the public. The federal government figured the public had money in their pockets. Why not use it as a way to teach? This particular bill was dedicated to history. And if you look closely, you can see the mother and child pointing toward the city of Washington, D.C. You can see the Washington Monument clear as day. You can see the Capitol. And then you see this vast expanse of not only river, but trees and wildlife all in the background there. That's the way that the Capitol looked back in 1896. You also have a copy of the Constitution right here. I don't know if my camera will zoom in, but I mean, there it is. Constitution of the United States, we the people. And so it goes. That's all written out on there. One of the other things you're going to find on this bill is that they encircled it with 23 names. These were famous people in history. You get Sherman, Lincoln, Irving, Cooper. You got a bunch of presidents in here as well. Adams, Jackson, Jefferson, Washington, Franklin, Hamilton. You know, all of these people were instrumental in the founding and the running of our country. See other inventors here. There's Morris, there's Webster, Hawthorne, Grant. So that's the front of the bill. Let's take a look at the back. On the back, of course, we're talking about the history of the United States. So we've got George Washington and Martha Washington. So yes, there was definitely women on our bills. That's not anything new. That's something we've done for quite a long time. The bill does have a little bit of rust over here. That's noted on the grading card there. So that is the $1 educational note. Like I said, I've already done the $2 note, and I do have the 5. Those were the 3 notes that were in circulation. The $5 note was the note that drove the public insane because it featured a model who was topless, and the public didn't want pornography in their pockets, and especially not on their money. So the U.S. government had to yank all these bills. These bills were only in circulation from 1896 to 1899. And it's one of the more famous editions you'll ever see of U.S. currency. So that's what I've got for you in this special edition, my second recording of the week. Usually only do one, but with tax time and everything else, I had a couple extra bucks, so I decided to see what I could find. I got my educational note, and I got my web note that I found. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.